The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series.
Adam asks what makes Xaviax think that tried to ad-lib in the middle of a sentence and just forgot how to say words. Hello there, heroes! I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Kamen Rider Dragon Knight episode review. We are racing towards the climax of this fantastic show. Last time, Xaviax pulled Kit's mirror twin Adam out of some kind of holographic reward fantasy, giving him back the Dragon Knight powers, while Advent Master Eubulon helped Len and the newly ensirened Maya find transmitters designed to capture the human population. Let's see what happens in the 33rd episode of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, Out of the Void.
Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel.
Yeah, and make sure you got your notifications set up by hitting that little bell icon.
Right you. What he said was, you can consider checking us out on Patreon or Ko-fi at Orange Ranger Videos. Right you.
This episode picks up exactly where the last one ended. Len calls Adam a traitor, but Adam claims that he was tricked by Xaviax. We've heard that one before. Len points out that the only way that Adam could have the Dragon Knight powers back is if Xaviax gave him the deck. Apparently, this is something that neither Adam nor Xaviax thought of. Adam tries to improvise, saying, no, he stole the deck back from Xaviax, but Len has heard enough. Both of them go survive mode, but we cut away to the Advent Void before the fight begins. Eubulon approaches a pod floating in the void and uses his deck to open it. Inside the pod is JTC? No, Eubulon, you don't want that one. Throw that one back. Well, let's just say stay tuned on that. Len tells Adam that he didn't just betray him and the Riders, he betrayed an entire world. But Adam continues to insist that he didn't do it. He gets the upper hand in the fight, and we start to see his character flaws peek through, as he says that Len won't listen. Because Len never listened! He pulls his final vent card, but even as Len goads him to do it, saying it's what he expects him to do, he can't make himself do it, running away. Weirdly, as we start to fade out to the opening credits, we see Len start to pull a card from his belt, but the shot's never finished. I imagine it was just part of the Ryuki footage and they couldn't find a clean way to cut it out, but as far as my thinking, you could have zoomed it in so it was upper torso on both. Anyway. Maya returns to the bunker, Trent congratulating her on her success as Kamen Rider Siren. Len returns and asks if the Advent Master is back yet, and when he's told no, he mopes a little bit. Maya asks what's wrong, but he just says nothing and sulks off. Maya's not an idiot though, so she follows him, and he confesses to having seen Adam. Weirdly, he says that he couldn't vent Adam when it was actually the other way around. Oops, That's right, this time Len is going emo on a plot point that we didn't even get to see. Unless you count that reaching for the card right before the opening credits. Even Maya seems flummoxed. All she can do is put a supportive hand on his shoulder. Over with Xaviax, Adam is telling him, well, the truth, that this plan isn't going to work. Len hates him for what he did. Though even with Xaviax, Adam actually says what he thinks I did. Interesting. Xaviax points out that Len would only be so angry with him if he still cared about him. So, for Sarah's sake, give it another try. He then questions if Adam even wants this plan to succeed. Snap cut to the woods where Wing Knight and Siren are sparring. Maya gets several hits in on Len, which leads her to comment that even with Case's skills, she should not be able to knock Len down. He's distracted about Adam. He doesn't respond to this because if there's anything that Len is good at, it's sulking. Back to the void. Eubulon finds another pod and pops her open, and inside is Drew? Kamen Rider Torque? Eubulon, you're really not making the best choices here. Back to the forest, whee! Maya asks Len why Adam betrayed the Riders, but the line is weirdly overwrought for the first line of a scene as we're cutting back to it. Why did Adam betray the Kamen Riders?
Why did Adam betray the Kamen Riders?
Len says that he thinks that Adam didn't want to be a Kamen Rider for the rest of his life. You see, that whole lifetime Kamen Rider thing with the suspended animation and all that Len offered to Kit, that was before Eubulon came back. The original Ventaran Riders only signed up to defeat Zabiax the one time. Mission accomplished, but with Eubulon gone, they couldn't be unlinked from the decks. Okay, so just don't use them. Here's the thing. As Len describes, that mirror shimmer alarm comes from the decks. The decks are like little alarms that let you know any time a person is in danger. How long can a good person ignore that? Most of them were able to accept their new lives and what they had to do. However, Adam was the youngest of them and was not ready to give up his life to be a career soldier. Anyway, after that bonding moment between Maya and Len, the two of them go back to sparring, and we go back to the Advent Void. Void, sparring, void, plot development, void, bunker, boing, 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 boing. This time, we see Eubulon seem to free Danny, Kamen Rider Axe. Also, the deck seems to glitch at first, suggesting either damage or maybe weakening power. Alright, this was a great moment. In the bunker, Trent is by himself tracking the transmitters and talking trash to them. Oh, I'm gonna find you. Oh, you don't know me? You don't know my skills? You don't know what I can do? He hears the mirror activate, and by the way, this is a nice chance to point this out. This particular mirror in the bunker has black squares that fade away from it anytime someone uses it, indicating that the mirror is being unlocked. It's being locked so Zabiax can't get to them in the bunker. Trent looks up and sees Danny Cho, Drew Lansing, and JTC standing there. Trent goes to call security, but Eubulon, who really should have come through the mirror first, pops out and says it's okay. Yeah, you might have picked up on my joke already, but these are not Zabiax's riders. These are the original Kamen Rider Torque, Kamen Rider Strike, and Kamen Rider Axe. But Trent says, how can Eubulon be sure that he got the right ones?
That's a stupid question.
Well, besides the fact that they're wearing really nifty black jackets with their rider logos on the upper left, Len and Maya then return. Maya sees Ventaran JTC and immediately goes for the Siren deck, thinking it's actually JTC, but Len knows who they are immediately, stopping her and joyously greeting Chance, Torque, Price, Strike, and Hunt, Axe. Price, of course, immediately introduces himself to Maya, perhaps trying to break the ice that he can sense, but Maya really can't process this and just kind of stands there silent. Eubulon gets them out of the situation, saying he needs to talk to the newly arrived riders and leading them out of this little awkward situation. Meanwhile, Adam is getting in some quality time with Sarah, but he's clearly distracted as well. She suggests getting some lunch, and when it doesn't seem like he's listening, she tests him by suggesting some tasty fried weasel. When he says, yeah, sure, that sounds great, and then realizes what she said, he has to admit that he's distracted. I mean, hey, they are technically aliens. Who knows what they eat? She asks if he's okay, and he's definitely not, as he begins to see Zabiax anywhere that he looks. He finally tells her that there's something he has to go do and leaves. Back at the bunker, Len and Eubulon catch the other three up on Earth, Zaviax, Adam, etc., etc. One little detail that I really like is that Eubulon tells them that they are now on Earth, the world behind the mirrors. I like that so much because the entire show we've heard Ventara referred to as the world behind the mirrors. Technically, both worlds are the world behind the mirrors, of course. It's just that Ventara is their home, so Earth would be the other world, the world behind the mirrors. Trent busts in saying they found 3 transmitters, 2 in South America and 1 in Asia. Apparently none in Antarctica just yet. Chance wants to go smash them, but Eubulon says no. They're going to use them to rescue Ventara's population when this is all over. For now, they're going to upload a virus to them on a flash drive that Eubulon pulls seemingly directly out of his backside. The flash drive will self-destruct as the virus is uploaded, and Eubulon can reverse the virus when they get the transmitters.
This is the isopalavial interface which controls the main ferromantle drive unit. Don't touch that.
He tells them to split into teams and go after the transmitters. He doesn't tell them how to split up, just to split into teams. He has to get back to the Advent Void. His deck is damaged, so he has to go and save as many other riders as he can, even at the risk of getting trapped in the void. If he ends up stuck in the void when his deck breaks down, his deck is the only key, so he'd truly be trapped there forever. But okay, splitting the riders into teams. We now have 5 riders to go after 3 transmitters, so I'm going to take a little guess at how this goes. Remember, when I do these kind of things in videos, I'm writing the script as I'm watching the episode, so when I wrote this, I didn't know. Maya is going to go with Price because there's some serious trust issues involving that face, and that would be interesting. Chance and Hunt are going to team up because Len has to be the one to go alone. So Adam can come along and offer his help.
I was the wrong one!
No, Len tells Chance to come with him to South America. He starts to team up Price and Hunt. Was he planning on sending Maya after the other transmitter by herself? But Price says that he works alone, like always. Okay, sure, dude. We literally just met you, but fine, like always. Len just says, some things never change. Let's ride. So I'm guessing that Price does end up going with Maya, although it turns out that Maya's not even in the scene, so maybe she's not going at all. Zaviax summons Adam to the factory, showing him the riders that have come back, in particular Kamen Rider Axe, so I'm guessing he's the one that's going to get that offer of help from Adam. Adam asks Zaviax what makes him think that Kamen Rider Axe is going to like him any more than Len does, but Zaviax just says that's not his problem.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
Hey Zaviax, guess what? It is your problem. You seem to be ignoring the biggest issue with this plan. Adam is damaged goods to the Venturan riders. I still say that it would have been better to try and pretend that he was Kit. Back to the void, where Eubulon flies up to another pod. Inside the pod is a blonde woman.
I think it's very nice of you to give that dead woman another chance.
Axe starts searching around his area when Dragon Knight pops up. He does the same, insisting he's innocent, Zaviax tricked him, etc., etc., but Axe is not buying. 2 mirror monsters then attack, and we cut to Zaviax observing this for just a couple of moments, and in those few wordless seconds, the idea is completely conveyed. Zaviax has sent these monsters to attack both of them so Adam can build up a little trust. Adam quietly says to himself that it's time to make this look good, going survive mode for some reason. That's an extreme overreaction. This is not an emergency. Both riders destroy their monsters, but Axe is completely aware of the fact that this could have been, and, was, a setup. He tells Adam that if he's really interested in trying to come back to the Ventaran Riders, he'll need to speak to Eubulon. Xaviax watches Axe plant his virus and quickly realizes what's going on. He calls Adam, telling him that he's going to send Axe some more trouble and for Adam to help deal with those monsters so that he can feel like somebody's on his side. Adam rightly points out that they literally just tried this and it didn't work. Xaviax's response? Well, it's actually a moment of personal tokusatsu history for me. I had to clip and save the moment, and it's one of the earliest clips on my YouTube channel. Because it is still one of the most mimetic moments that I have ever seen.
May I make a suggestion?
What? Stop whining!
Then we have another, what I'm calling little disconnect moment. It's something where the context of the scene is described, but either what ends up happening or what we saw happen that was being described didn't match up with the description. Xaviax said that he was sending trouble to Hunt. Yeah, by the way, Axe's name is Hunt. I think I called him Price a couple times. I knew throwing a bunch of new names into this at this late point that I'd mess some of them up. So that Adam could help Hunt. So, of course, we see the monsters attack Adam, and Hunt comes to save him. Even though Xaviax said he was sending the monsters to attack Hunt, so Adam could save him. And by the way, Hunt says that he was actually aiming at Adam, though that could have just been grandstanding.
Brilliant. I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Dragon Knight goes survive. Again. At this point, I was pretty sure they were using footage from different episodes. As a matter of fact, the way Hunt is presented, Kamen Rider Axe, I should say, in this episode, almost makes it seem like it's from his debut episode. There's close-up shots of his suit, his weapons, his helmet. It's like an introduction.
Hunt, thanks for the save. I was aiming at you.
Adam vents a chameleon monster, and Hunt vents something that looked like it was wearing a Native American headdress for some reason. Hunt still doesn't seem to be sold, telling Adam that if he follows him, he'll vent him. Back to the void. One last time. Eubulon finds another pod. He opens it, and this time, he's finally located Kit. Let's read the cards. Episode 33, Out of the Void. Pros, a wheels to the ground story, fun with the new faces, and Maya's involvement as a rider. Cons, a lot of jumping back and forth, footage matching stumbled a bit, and the stubbornness of Xaviax's Adam plan. This is one of those good episodes that feels like it's building to something great. Out of the Void gets 3.75 cards out of 5. This story has felt a little all over the place lately, especially the past episode. Lots of technobabble, go here, go here, go here, go here. Maya's a writer now, that's weird, etc. This episode does keep up with that somewhat with the virus that comes out of absolutely nowhere and the new rider faces. But overall, it really does feel like the story takes a little bit of a breath this week. We've established a new arc. The Ventaran Riders are coming back, Xaviax seems to be running out of options, and the transmitters are the key for both sides. Speaking of the Ventaran Riders, that sequence of Trent and Maya seeing them for the first time was actually really fun. In fact, thinking about it, there was kind of an undertheme in this episode of old faces returning and causing complicated emotions, because Len is also very clearly conflicted about Adam. As Xaviax said, the anger comes from pain, the pain comes from affection. We don't get there yet, we just take the first step in this episode, but Maya seeing Price, who looks like JTC, is also complicated. She was falling for him, he betrayed her, and now his face is back. But it's not him. And speaking of Maya, wow, the flow going on this week. It was awesome to see her in Rider Action last week, and admittedly this week we only saw her sparring with Wing Knight, but she just had a different vibe to her this week. Maya has existed kind of on the outside of this story as sort of an enthusiastic amateur. Now, Maya is a Kamen Rider. She was able to speak to Len as an equal, a confidant, and it really helped both of their characters grow. I will admit here that watching Eubulon pull people out of pods probably isn't the most interesting thing in the world. However, I still feel like we could have gotten a montage of Eubulon finding those 3 riders that he found instead of going to the void and then to the action and then to the void and then to the action, back to the void, back to the action, etc. Along with the next con, it really made this episode feel a little cut up. Adam tries to convince Hunt that he's on the up and up. They fight some monsters and he goes survive mode. Then they move to a forest and do the exact same thing over again, including Adam going survive mode. Toss in stuff like Len saying he couldn't vent Adam when it was Adam that couldn't vent him, and you just get this weird aspect where the footage wasn't entirely matching the script today. And speaking of Adam, good gods, the flow to this pros and cons. I can't say enough how little sense this plan makes. Now, maybe Adam does start making some ends with Axe, for example. I honestly don't really remember how this plot thread resolves, which is actually kind of nice since I'm reviewing the show. But as it stands right now, Adam is trying to force the Venturan riders to become friends with their betrayer because Xaviax needs somebody on the inside. Use a disguise! Pretend that Adam is Kit. This clearly isn't working, but Xaviax just keeps low-key blaming Adam for that. It's really a stumble for the ultimately clever and conniving Xaviax that we've seen all season long. But overall, a good enough episode on its own, but really feels more like setup for things down the road. Let's take a peek at the first of those things with the 34th episode, Back in Black. Kit returns from the Advent Void, having taken up the dream-based powers of Kamen Rider Onyx. When he encounters his mirror twin Adam, an argument ensues that ends in battle. And that is going to wrap up another Kamen Rider Dragon Knight episode review. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can smack the thumbs up button right down below it to let me know that. And while you're down there, you can also leave me a comment letting me know what you thought of this episode as well as my review of it. Until next time, heroes, may the power of the cards protect you. She shouldn't be able to knock Len down. He's... Snap cut to the woods, where Siren and Wing Knight are... This particular mirror in the bunker has those black squares fade away when someone use it. He starts to Let's take a look at the look. Make sure to like the video by hitting the thumbs up button right down below. And while you're down there, hit the thumbs up button right down below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And make sure if you enjoyed the video to hit that thumbs up button right down below it. And while you're down there, you can leave a comment and let me know what you thought about this episode. Is it